Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Cowgirl Closet podcast. I'm your host, Addy Ford. The Cowgirl Closet podcast is a worldwide ranch production brought to you in part by A.B. Lino, who let us film in their wonderful custom clothing boutique located here in downtown Fort Worth. Today's episode is brought to you by the Tara Stark Real Estate Group, the leading name in Texas luxury land and lifestyle properties. We're diving into the brand's mission, values, and heart behind their work with their leader, Tara Stark. Tara, I'm so excited to have you as today's co-host and learn a little bit more about you and the brand that you created. Tara, welcome to the Cowgirl Closet podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a joy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait to get to know you a little better.
Thank you.
So for the listeners, just kind of tell them a little bit about you and who you are.
Awesome. That's a long subject. But myself, if someone hadn't met me, they're going to know pretty quick that I'm serious and on point.
Mm-hmm.
I love to have a great time, but I get right to just going into the point of why we're meeting and what we're doing. And I think it's just work-oriented, horse-oriented, the seriousness of life, I think, at times.
Yeah.
But I love being around people, but I love being out in the wide open spaces by myself.
Yep. Hey, that's a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you grew up on ranches across Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana.
Yes.
How did that shape you?
So I think it was the independence of being out riding a horse across 4,000 acres.
Yep.
And that freedom that brings to you, but the love of the land. I think that's where it started, the love of the land, and then the love of the horse was after that, actually. But the love of the land was so much of who I was. And as I learned that the wide open spaces talked more to me than the piney woods of Louisiana.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, we lived on a ranch that overlooked a place called Lake Oologah.
Okay.
And it was a vast lake. And so I'm like, oh, that's where that love came from wanting to look at water.
Yeah.
So those things shape you. But working on big ranches, gathering cows in the morning and feeding them in the frozen tundra is, it just causes a naturistic love and a work ethic of having to do what you've got to do to take care of other animals.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've always grown up on land, living on land,
Yes.
doing all the things.
Yes, 99% of the time, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When was the first time, if you can remember, that you got on a horse?
And maybe it's because of pictures that I have, but I recall a paint mare when I was 4 years old.
Awesome.
That I got to ride and being out with my dad, always around the horses.
Yeah, awesome.
Wanted to always help Dad.
So being one of 6 kids, what did that teach you about grit and work ethic?
So I left home when I was 17, graduated high school and left home. And it was like, okay, time to go to work. But with 6 kids over that period of time, it was just, our family was very loyal to each other, very much about honesty, integrity, and privacy of things that were said within the family compound. And I think that has, the work ethic of my parents has definitely filtered in through the rest of my life. And their word was everything, and their word was absolute. You didn't need to have to ask the question twice. But the expectation of our parents was to always do your best.
Yep.
And I think that has always shaped me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Sounds like you grew up seriously with such an amazing family. So I can't say the same. I have one brother and my mom, my dad. So they're amazing. Obviously that sounded bad, but I don't know what it's like to have so many siblings. So
yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
you know, with so many siblings too, and the way our family is, it was always very important that we tell each other that we love each other. And that was something my parents did on purpose.
Yeah.
To shape our family, and that's something we still do today, and we are a very close-knit family still, all these years later.
Yeah, I tell everyone I know that I love them, just because you never know. And I seriously do. I just love people. So anyways, gonna get back on track, sorry. So tell us about your love for horses and how riding influenced your life.
So you're growing up on the ranch, and I was a middle child for the longest time because I had an older brother and one younger than me. and we were all a year apart.
Yep.
And then there was a break, and then there were 3 more. And horses were my solitude and my escape, and they were where I could go. They were just my heart animal. And I competed as a child in local clubs, and didn't realize how much and how often I changed horses and competed and would win and would sell them, and you'd get another horse. And so that was kind of part of my structure as a kid.
Yep.
And I was very competitive and learned how to become a better showman, and how to care for my horse. And so I think that has just elevated into the professional field of the NCHA, but also into taking care of people and their land and how we help them.
Yeah. So you did compete for a long time for NCHA. What did those years teach you?
So, of course, growing up as my father is a horse trainer and marrying into the horse training world, all I ever wanted to do was ride a horse.
Yeah.
That was my love. That's all I wanted to do. I would do anything to get up every morning and go ride a horse and help. And so when I got out of high school, I was offered a job on the King Ranch.
Yep.
And I just took off. And no holds barred. It was like, that's what I wanted to do, to be anywhere I could ride a horse. And then I went to work on a cutting horse operation, just loping horses, taking care of and loping horses, because I wanted to ride a horse. I did not go to college, which was an expectation that my dad had set forth on all of us. And he let me off the hook and said, it's okay, you don't have to, you can go ride horses. So
That's awesome. So I do actually want to hear a little bit more about your first job at King Ranch. What was that experience like?
It's again, your first time away from your family. And thankfully my brother was also working on the King Ranch at the time.
Yeah.
And, but it was long days, grit, taking care of their famous stallions, Mr. Sandpepe and Buster Welch, coming into, a lot of filming was going on down there at the time, and taking care of the family horses and their yearlings, fitting them for sale. We would eat at the commissary, and it was just 14-hour days were nothing on the ranch. And but it was something that I cherish as far as the experience of experiencing that ranch in its heyday, of when the cutting horse world was so prominent to the industry.
Yeah. All right. So stepping out of the horse world and into the real estate was a big shift for you. What pushed you to take that leap?
Certainly. That was life-changing, having gone through a divorce. And at that stage in time, I was 40 years old, and all I had ever done was ride a horse. And that was my world and my life. Yeah. And so it was like, what can I do now at this age? That's all I knew how to do. And so I moved back home. My daughter Lauren was born, and she was 10, I think, at the time. And it's, what am I going to do with my life? I could go to work for other ranches, but knowing that that was not going to suffice for me. And if something happened to me, who would be available to take care of her? Right. And so I was driving around Parker County and was looking for land. And I had a little bit of savings, and it was like, I'm going to buy a piece of land, because that way it's safe and I can count on it. Land's always going up. And driving around Parker County, I can remember the corner I was turning on, and I literally had an epiphany from God that said, you need to get in real estate. And it was like a literal lightning bolt moment as I was looking for land, going, the real estate agents are the ones that know where all the land is at first. And you need to go get in real estate. And I drove straight home, called the only realtor I knew at the time, and said, what do I do? And jumped in to go into school to get my license.
That story is actually really inspiring. Like, seriously, because I know divorces are hard, and you kind of just flipped your life around completely, and that's incredible. Especially doing that during like a hard time is amazing. Thank you. So So what skills from the cutting horse and ranch world translated into real estate?
I think so many things, and I remember going through a process of having to name your skills or things you were good at.
And you're like, well, I know I can work hard.
right. And I can keep my mouth shut, and I can do this and stand behind your word. And all those things have elevated actually, and are all the skills in working with people and helping them sell their real estate and to help them in their life, because it is also part of that, because real estate is such a big transaction, and so many people it can be an emotional change, it can be an inspirational, it can be sadness and life changing.
Yeah.
And so when you've gone through things like that yourself, as I got into real estate for the first year, I still had a couple of horses. I sold the last two, had one old horse left, and I wanted to still continue to show and try to show, and I realized I can't do both well.
Yeah.
And because I'm not committed and dedicated enough. So I made the decision that the horses are going on the back burner. And
Was that hard for you?
actually, no. And it was a gift to me from God to me. It's because they were such a love of my life. And I would have people like years later ask me, well, don't you miss it? Or doesn't it make you upset or sad? I'm like, no, it was a blessing, because this is what I had to do to provide for my child and to provide for my family. And it was an easy choice. And to me, that was a blessing from God to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But those gifts of being able to, when you're single and trying to sell a horse and somebody's trying to negotiate you down, and go, no,
Nope.
if you want it, that's what it's going to cost. And so that ability, the communication, the ability to,
kind of just stand your ground.
yes, and hold firm and not not show your hand, and negotiate and be proud of who you are, and the confidence in yourself, and know that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And all of those things resonated in real estate.
Yeah. So let's take kind of a step back and go back into the transition that you were talking to me about. You were navigating this whole thing, being a single mom. What kept you grounded in that season?
Yes. And so God, most definitely.
Yep.
And that relationship, and my family, and the people you surround yourself with. But yet, even though it's a very individualistic time, but there was a reason why. And we talk about it in our real estate world of why you do what you do and what drives you. And it was my daughter and providing. And I was bound and determined to provide. After getting my license, and my parents sold their home, moved to Louisiana, back to Louisiana. And my brother lived in Aledo, and went and rented a duplex. And it was $900 a month, and I had no idea how I was going to pay for it, because I left penniless with, and so it was like, how am I going to pay for this? I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Yep.
And you just do whatever it takes. And so we lived in that duplex for 2 years, and saved and made the decision, I'm going to save money and buy a house. And so I became so on purpose with doing that, and learning more about money and saving money and investing my money and keeping it to do certain things.
I need to learn from you.
and I was just very good at not spending my money and spending it before it came to fruition. And just because I had a contract on a property didn't mean I was going to ever earn that money.
Yep.
And that's a hard discipline. The horse world taught me that. You know, you wake up unemployed every day, basically. And I never had to count on, or never did count on, a biweekly check. It was, if you didn't earn or sell or create something, you didn't earn any money.
Yeah.
So it was always up to you. So I had the tools and the opportunities placed in front of me, and I just knuckled down and did it.
Yeah. Wow, your story really is inspiring.
Thank
and
you.
just to see where you are now it's incredible. God is so good.
He is so good.
Yeah. So back to the real estate thing. What inspired you to start your own real estate team?
So, really your team when you're an individual, whether you realize it or not, and knowing I wanted to expand and build on that, because you can't do it all by you. There's a ceiling you're going to hit when you're an individual agent, that you cannot continue to process all of your files and all your marketing and all of those things. There's only so much you can do in a day, and so many things you're gifted at. One of the great things that my first broker ever told me was, and showed me and exposed me to, was my personality trait and what I was gifted at.
Yep.
And I had a strong personality and decisive and driven. And there were things I wasn't great at. And that was all the technology and all of those things behind the scenes.
That
And
people
so,
don't even think about.
yes. And then and as you expand more and do more, those things need attention. And those were not things I was great at. I did not grow up in a computer world,
Mhm.
did not know how to turn one on or use it when I started in the real estate industry. The horses didn't need a computer.
Yeah.
At that time, yes, that world is different now.
Mhm.
And so they taught us to hire things that you're not gifted at, expand on the things you're great at, because you can move that needle easier than you can bring up. I
Mhm.
always thought I had to get good at the things I wasn't good at.
Yeah.
And they showed me no, you stay great and make the things you're great at better and stronger. And that's what's going to pay you. And then you hire out the things you're not great at.
I'm making a mental note in my
Okay.
head about that right now.
Mhm.
So, what would you say sets your team apart in a market as competitive as North Texas?
Mhm. I think authenticity.
Yep.
Advisorship to people, being real, being transparent and real.
Absolutely.
It's the world since COVID and the fast pace of the first 2 years out of there, and then now the market shifting and changing. And Gary Keller, the founder of our company, also a mentor, because when you read, whoever you read and listen to is also a mentor to you.
Yeah.
And I learned to read a lot when I first got into the real estate world and still do. It's about growth and becoming more.
Mhm.
I always thought that if I could become a better human being, I will be a better real estate agent.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about learning how to sell real estate, it was learning about becoming better. And he said, the market is the market. It doesn't matter. Just go
Yeah.
sell, just go do your job. And so, with it shifting, it's coming down off the high, if you will, for sellers and buyers too, of what that world was like, and being their advisor and educating them through the process and the reality of values and who's buying property.
Mhm.
As much as people are moving into our territory in Parker County, there's a plethora of homes on the market and property on the market. And why do some sell? The thing is, some sell every day.
Yep.
And so why are they selling and this one is not? And it's knowing your market so well and being able to translate that to a buyer or seller such that there's a trust. And I think trust in between, it's amazing that people invite you into a stranger into their home.
Yep.
And that they sit down at the dinner table and that they're signing a contract with you within an hour's time and that
Yep.
they trust you and they believe in you. And so we have been able, fortunately, to utilize, marketing and social media to where people already feel like they have an insight to you and know
Mhm.
you before they ever invite you into their home.
Yep.
And they just think they already know you. And when you show up and you are who you have said you are, then they believe in you.
Yep.
And so there's a trust between the two parties that has to happen. And so I think for us, that sets us apart is the authenticity to be able to translate that to people in the realness and to be real.
Absolutely.
So,
Awesome. So you've helped 93 families this past year. What's driving that growth and success?
And I think that's an individual choice, and it's understanding what's important to you, and that shifts. And as you go through the early years of real estate, and was survival and literal survival, and how do I survive, and how do I provide, and then there's goals, and you reset those goals, and so today, it's not always, and it's hard because as driven as I am, as competitive as I am, it's like, okay, I have to top that and
Yeah.
top that and top that. And sometimes you have to set pause and just say, it's not about that number. What is important to me? And I always want to feel like I've done everything I could do. And I always have felt like, well, I could have done better.
Right.
Every year. If I had been more of this or more of that, I can learn more and expand more. How can I help more people? How can I help them better? So to me, it's more about the quality of each person's transaction with us. And I don't want to be transactional. I want to be relational because you're building relationships.
Yeah.
That trust starts here and you want to continue and build it
Yep.
throughout the process. and to where you succeed in getting their goals of getting their property sold in the time they want to sell it. And that it's just we've learned so much, and so it's what's important next year.
Yeah.
And I think more important than topping that 93 number, it's more important to know I've done exceptionally well for each client.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever buy a home, I'm sure I will, but I'm coming to you.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
No, I
Awesome.
love the way that you take on all of your clients. Like it's just, it's incredible that it's not, you try and build relationships with everybody, and that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you specialize in luxury homes, ranches, land, and a bunch of other properties. What makes those areas unique?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I tend to not sell in smaller subdivisions, which I do. I have. I love the equestrian properties, the ranches, and then what I call the luxury estates, which our territory, Aledo and Weatherford, are all building into that now. Houses on land, and Aledo was known for that for so long. And those properties, no two are alike. And so it's being able to differentiate and understand where it's located, why a certain street is worth more than another, and then you don't have a cookie cutter home to compare it to. And it's just being able to come from different concepts of looking at the property and coming up with its highest and best value and helping the client to understand that, whether you're a buyer or a seller, and why the property is worth what it's worth.
Right.
And being able to articulate that to them and show them facts and figures and numbers, because you've got to back it up with evidence.
Yeah.
And we can all feel our property is the most beautiful in the world and is the greatest, and everybody should want to live here. But what does that look like when you back it up with facts?
Yeah.
And so we do both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What should buyers or sellers know about land or ranch transactions before just diving in?
Mm-hmm. You know, I think that that's different for every person and every different personality. You've got some people that wing it and move quickly because that's what I want.
Yeah.
That works. We're done. And then you have others that are analytical, and they need all the evidence first. They need all the information first. But real estate is even though days on market are longer today, it can happen overnight. A property may have even been sitting there for 60 days, and then all of a sudden you'll get 3 offers on it.
Right.
It's very interesting that it happens that way, or something new hits the market and we have an offer within 2 days.
Yeah.
And that still happens today. And so when you know that you want to buy or sell a property, it's just pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah.
It's having the conversation so that you learn, if you don't know more, but that we can help you learn more or see more. And it's all about finding out and asking you really great questions and finding out your goals and why it's important to you to move, or what's going on with your family. And you're getting moved, or you're upsizing or downsizing. There's so much with people. It's just discovering what's important to them about buying and selling.
Yeah, absolutely. What trends are you seeing right now in the North Texas market?
Oh, wow. So much growth in that, and especially towards the west. Of course, we've already seen it go north into Frisco. Decatur is experiencing growth. Denton and Decatur.
Even Paradises, too. It's crazy.
And so towards Aledo, Weatherford, we have tens of thousands of acres still available to us that are raw, wide open spaces. We had a lot of developers, small developers, come into the territory right after COVID, and now massive corporations are coming in. We're seeing expansion. We're seeing that in the roadways of so many roadways getting rebuilt.
Like
and not
from
enough
Fort Worth
space.
to
Yes,
Weatherford.
yes, and to Aledo. I could get here in 15 minutes before. Now it's 40.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the construction zones right now. And that's getting prepared. We're behind because there's so many people commuting into the city. But there's so much land turning over right now that, and they're getting built into massive developments, luxury developments. Equestrian developments are a little further west of town, and finding the raw land to either build the place you've always dreamed of, or taking a place that is sitting there and making it your own.
Right. Interesting. So your mission is to make a difference and create a legacy. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. So, and that's evolved over time as well. And when we slowed down and realized that we were helping people sell land that had been in their family for generations, and it wasn't necessarily by their choice that that was how occurring. And land gives people opportunity um, that it's like an investment portfolio for them. And for a lot of people, your real estate in your home is the largest investment you will have.
Right.
And so we realized we weren't necessarily getting to be the jolly jump through and sell the sunsets of every transactions. The majority of ours, 70 probably percent of our properties that we were selling and helping people with were through life changes.
Yep.
And that can be marriage, it can be divorce, it can be death, and it can be jobs and just a legacy ranch that now I can no longer take care of it.
Yeah.
And I need to transition and come to town, and my kids don't want it.
Yeah.
And so it's helping people through that process. And so we realized that we were making a difference in people's lives through selling real estate. And so we started with that slogan, and it just became part of who we were. We've evolved that really again and added to it in the last 2 years, and with the word live.
Yep.
And that was on #live. And it's because we realized you can get to working so hard that you're not living, and that you're doing all this for when.
Yep.
And when I get here, and you're doing it to get there, and you may not get there.
Yeah.
And life, as we know, is short, and
Very.
we're blessed. And to learn to enjoy where you're at on the path to where you're going right now. And heard great preaching this weekend on it. This is then.
Yeah.
This is then. And so we can enjoy it all while we're going. And it's to live on purpose and to realize we need to be living.
Yeah.
And that's different for each person. And we're fortunate in this industry to be able to help so many people, not just but in through what we earn and are able to attribute and help to others.
Yeah.
But to be on purpose to live and to remind ourselves.
Yeah. That's amazing. So kind of circling back to what you had mentioned just a second ago, whenever we started that conversation, you mentioned that maybe when someone's buying, it's always for a reason. Maybe, they just want to downsize, or maybe they're going through a divorce or something. So that really means that real estate can be emotional, obviously, and alongside it, financial. How do you walk clients through like those big moments?
Yes, that's a great question, because, and then they'll doubt themselves. They'll get excited, I'm going to do this, and then there's doubt. And so, in the way to overcome doubt is to have information and facts, and to take them back to why they started the process in the first place.
Right.
Because real estate, it's not all, sunshine and rainbows, and it's not easy process. It's a stressful process, and that just adds to whatever state they're in at the time, whether it's glee and happy, or sadness, or deliberation. It's just so they understand the process. And so you have to be empathetic enough to understand and meet them where they are. It's to meet them where they are and listen to them, ask enough questions so you know where they're wanting to get to, and to be strong enough with them to help them in that process of making a decision.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be a salesperson. And I thought, I'm not a salesperson. But what I found out is I am a supporter, an advisor, and an inspirer to letting them go back to why they started this process, or what's important to them about it, and helping them overcome the obstacles, because more than likely there are going to be obstacles in through that process of buying and selling, and to stay strong and firm in what they wanted to do to start with.
Yeah. So I'm not in real estate, obviously, but I have learned just so much from you sitting here, just like ways to take on life. Like what you're saying, it doesn't have to be just real estate.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah, I'm growing up. Thank you. Just kidding. All right. So, we have to talk about fashion, because this is a fashion podcast. How would you describe your personal style?
I would say my personal style is classic vintage Western.
I love it.
And
Absolutely.
I love vintage pieces. I'm a hoarder with old pieces, and that's everything in my house.
I think I'm a hoarder with clothes in
Yes.
general.
If you walked into my house, you would go, "Oh, she loves horses," or she has some weird obsession because everything has a horse on it.
Yeah.
But I love the fashion. I'm very also, I would say, classic in that way.
Yeah.
My favorite suit is a black suit coat with a black shirt.
Yeah. Fun
And
fact, her favorite color is
yes,
black, guys.
it's black. Yes. Because I'm most comfortable in black. I know
Yeah.
I got red on today, a vintage piece. And so that's I get those pops of fun are great for me.
Yep.
But I'm fortunate with where I live and what I sell is it's boots and jeans
Yep.
almost every day. Yes, we can put on a ball gown and go to the galas,
Yep.
but it's boots and jeans.
Yeah.
And my suit coat, my go-to is black.
Yeah.
It's black, black, black.
Well,
And
that's
so-
okay as long as you're confident.
It's favorite.
Sorry, I did not mean to cut
That's
you
okay.
off there.
That's okay.
So, can you maybe describe what you're wearing? Reminder,
Mhm.
some people might be watching, some people
Mhm.
might just be
Mhm.
listening. But yeah, maybe tell the people what you're wearing because you do look really cute.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My throwback to the ruffle shirts.
I love it.
Thank you. And it's back. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, those things are back.
Mhm.
And so I'll have to give a shout out to a really, really great friend of mine. Her name is Sherry Wolfenbarger Kagan.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Sherry Wolfenbarger Kagan.
Okay.
And a
I like that.
beautiful lady that has been a friend of mine for 40 years. And we started in the horse world together. And I used to admire her on a horse because she was so gorgeous on a horse.
Mhm.
And she would wear ruffles and everything fit just right. And she was just so beautiful. And so I always loved that look. And so I would go look for shirts that looked like hers. It's kind of how that started.
Yeah.
And then with the suit coats, with this coat, things that fit me right. It's hard to fit. I'm hard to fit. It seems interesting, but I am. And it just had a look, and it's a vintage style and a vintage coat. And every time I wear it, people are just
Yeah.
crazy over it, and I just love it.
I love it.
And even the jewelry is a Jim Reno piece, and I've had it for 30 years.
Yeah.
And so it's just things that I love and I keep and I constantly wear. And it's all simple classic to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very classy.
Mhm.
You're going to laugh at this because I know we kind of laughed about how we both wore red today, but
Yes.
I almost wore like a blazer jacket
Oh, wow.
today. I was very close to it,
Yeah.
but I was just like,
Mhm. And
I don't
I
know.
love the styles today. I just can't wear them. I love your outfit.
Well,
and
thank
you're
you.
adorable. And it's like I can't wear them. It shouldn't be at this age, but it's but so many. I love the Western influence and the Western
Oh my gosh,
lifestyle
yeah.
today. And it's like okay to dress like this all the time.
all the time.
I did anyway, and I would drive my dually pickup around Fort Worth, and I could get out in a skirt or
Yeah.
in boots and jeans. And but now it's the everyday norm, it seems, and
Yeah.
with the Western shows that are on and the acceptance of the Western. Of course, what I loved about Weatherford was you could always still show up in a cowboy hat and boots and spurs.
And nobody would
20
look at you
years ago, when
differently.
nobody would think anything
Yeah.
of it, and so it's now everybody else is doing it too.
Yeah, now like
Mhm.
I went to Dallas a couple weeks ago, and even people there,
Mhm,
which I
mhm.
rarely see,
Mhm.
I love how much it's expanding.
Yeah,
But,
and I love the shop and with all the
Mhm.
hats, and it's like cool to wear a hat and be Western.
like
Mhm.
like where we're at right
Yes.
now. No, and it's really cool too to see how different everybody's Western style can
Yes.
be.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I love it.
Mhm.
It really brings out like
Mhm.
who people truly are,
Yeah.
and it shows how much you can really do with it.
Yeah.
I love it so
Mhm.
much.
Mhm.
So, do you have a go-to look for maybe showings, cutting events, or like you said, the community galas?
Yes. So I'm liable
Yes.
to wear this to an art show or to a gala,
Mhm.
something just like this that's a little more out there or different or unique. The Western heritage places that we go, everybody dresses up like this, and so
Mhm.
that's cool. My go-to, my black suit coat.
Yep.
That's and if it's summer, it's a black collared shirt, button up, black
Mhm.
collared shirt, short sleeve because we're out on land, walking land in
Yep.
100 degrees, and so it's black.
Yep.
And that's still my go-to color. And so for going to our horse shows, It's dressing up again, a little more style to it. We can go a little funky and far looking.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
At
so
our
excited.
yeah, and at our real estate booth and things like that. And we enjoy meeting people there and doing that. And there are galas. We'll put on a ball gown and do whatever we have. But everyday norm, black suit coat.
Yep. So would you say that that's like your staple piece in your closet?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go black, and 5 different black suit coats.
Yep.
So yes.
Okay. Well, and that answers my next question for you, because it was, what is a staple piece for you?
Yeah. Okay.
It's the black suit coat.
Yeah.
All right. So you've talked about redefining success. What does success look like to you now?
Yeah. And so that's so interesting, because it's ever changing, and I'm so thankful to be surrounded by people that think that way, and that it's all about where you are and what's important to you and how that's shifting. Because to have the energy every year to pour back and decide this is what I'm going to continue doing, continue to grow. I'm always had a growth mindset, and I find that in either podcast or listening to old tapes or reading books. It's always my next greatest book. I always want to continue to grow and be expanded. And so success to me now is being thankful and satisfied, and content, but not in a word of settling. It's never settling.
Yeah.
It's always thankful and satisfied on the path that we're on for what God's given us and opened up the opportunity. I'm always looking to grow and expand and to do more. I always want to do more. There's always more. And so success is being successful with each person in their closing. Being successful, it's not about the money. It's not about the numbers. There's goals to hit, but that's not success, because that is shriveled and done the moment it's done.
Yeah.
It's knowing you help that family. It's knowing how does this success edify my family, and how can I go help others by achieving success. And if that equates to financial opportunities, then that's a wonderful thing to have accomplished. To be able to bless others with the success. It's not about what can I go buy or do. It's about how can I utilize what God's given me.
Absolutely.
Help somebody else.
Absolutely. So you recently attended the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame induction. What did that moment mean to you?
It was priceless this year. I tell you, it was incredible.
Yeah.
To listen to these ladies that come from all walks of life and how they're growing where they're planted and in their world and making a difference into protecting the Western lifestyle, but the land. They're protecting the land and the legacy of their culture, of how they grew up and what it stands for. Yes, this year it just made you want to go and make certain you stood for something, and to realize what's going on in the nation and protecting of our lands and our industries, our farming industries and our beef industry, and the ladies that are accomplishing so much and causing awareness. You know, if you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going on. So it opens your eyes and it expands. We watch it a little bit because we sell land, and we're aware that so much of our farmland is disappearing and being sold off, and whether that's the solar fields or houses or things. And so growth is wonderful, yet sometimes we don't love it.
Yeah.
But people do have to have a place to live, but it's like not here.
Not here.
Sometimes. Sometimes
so
you're just like,
I was going to ask your thoughts on that earlier, but I didn't, because I didn't know that was
That's okay.
but.
So it reawakens that desire to be on purpose about, our industry is to help people buy and sell property.
Yeah.
And if we can help them, depending on, some people want to put their land in a conservatorship, and how do we help them do that?
Right.
And there are ways to protect land if that's important to them, if that's an opportunity for them. And we definitely have avenues to help them do that.
Yeah.
And then there are others that are needing funds from the sale of this in order to go have an operation for little Jimmy, let's say,
Yeah.
and they're utilizing that or to fund the rest of their life. And that's important too.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to understand for each person, it's different, but how do we make the world aware, community first aware, and then expand there to the state? And there are people that will go to the state capitol or go to the capitol in DC to make a cause known,
Mm-hmm.
such that how do we make a difference and how do we support those women? It just really revitalized an awakening of going, and then that we make a difference. And that's, I think, and that goes back to make a difference. I think we make a difference anytime we change one person or help one person.
For sure.
That you don't know the ripple effect of how that affects for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
And so
That's a really good way to go about it.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So those ladies were so inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives you energy to go continue and to fight the good fight. And for every person, that's different.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I know that's super inspiring. Has there ever been a time that has inspired you like that?
Yes, there was. I had a real estate coach,
Mm-hmm.
and that would push me because of that survivor mindset that I talked about when I first got into real estate. That lasted for, well, it's still that way. I still have a survivor mindset.
Yeah.
But 10 and 12 years into the real estate world, 15 years into the real estate world, to where it was still, I was just working to work, and putting my head down, going to work, put my head down, going to work. And I had accomplished all my goals and sent my daughter to college and paid for college and did those things that was important to me, bought a home, and all of those things were important. I bought my first home at the age of 42.
Yeah.
And so that's really older for a lot of people. But she kept asking me over and over in our conversations, do you ever want to ride a horse again? And I'm like, no. Because they were out, they were completely out. Other than sitting out in the pasture where I could look at them, they were completely out of my life. And she goes, would you ever want to go compete again? No. And it was, and it wasn't that a block. It was just, I was at peace with a no. And so she said, is there a possibility? And so she had asked the question different. Is it possible?
Is it possible? Yeah.
Because I knew how expensive it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I also was a hoarder of my money and a saver and an investor and protector of my money. And I didn't want to blow it. And I had a hard time spending money on myself.
Right.
And so she just would keep asking, is it possible? Do you think you're in a position now? And so as my career grew, she would
still
keep
ask
asking
you.
me. She would ask me. And so is it possible? Because I wasn't doing things for myself. And she saw this as a pattern of just working all the time and coming in from a survivor mindset. And she goes, it's like it's an old coat that you've worn. And she said, it's like it's the middle of August. And do you think it's time to take the coat off? It's like, and so the way she asked the question, she goes, do you think it's possible? Because I do have vision boards, and I love vision boards because it helps the mindset, and you can see and you can dream, and it's there. She goes, do you think it's possible that you could put the horse back on the vision board? And so I said, yes. And so I took an old photo of my favorite horse and put it showing him and put it back on my vision board. And so I had some really great friends. And this is what's important about surrounding yourself with people that believe and inspire and push you to listen to your dreams.
Right.
Because you can keep talking yourself out of doing them.
Mm-hmm.
And someday. So I had two really good friends. Because then I put it on the board and it said on the board.
Yep.
And so it's always you're gonna. Well, I might gonna. And then the conversation has to start. Well, I could see myself. Well, I'd go to the shows and watch horses. Okay, I'd show that horse. Okay, I'd show that horse. Yep. Well, I really like that horse. Well, maybe it's for sale. Why don't you ask? Well, no, it wouldn't be. You always say you're gonna.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I just got up, walked over and said, would that horse be for sale and what would it cost? And it was also, well, what horse trainer would you want?
Mm-hmm.
And I had already been through that process, but I never did anything.
Yep.
Well, I probably couldn't get in their barn. They're probably too expensive. And well, how do you know? You haven't asked.
The eye roll so real.
Yes. And so I did. And so I went, asked for a quick meeting. told them this is what I'm looking for. And of course, I had sold them their ranch.
Yep.
And it's like, this is what I'm looking for. This is the kind of horse I want. Da, 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 da,
And
da.
you had already built a relationship with them too,
Yes.
so that's
And
helpful.
so, yeah. And I've been in the industry and people
Mhm.
and for so long in the horse industry. And because I'd had a real estate booth at all the shows and been there so much too. So
Yeah.
it was they saw me in a different capacity. And so I said, this is what I'm looking for. I think I have the horse for you. And so, and I went and tried her and worked her one time and was like, okay, I want to buy her. And went in 3 months,
Mhm.
stepped back into the horse sale arena for the first time in 17 years
Oh,
in the
wow.
horse show arena, and had ridden her once and went and showed her and competed on her. And that was in March.
I was gonna say, when
It
was this?
2020.
Okay.
And so it was March of 2020. And within 2 weeks' time of having purchased her, the world shut down.
Oh yeah.
COVID.
Uh-huh.
And everything stopped. And I'm like, oh, no, Lord.
Like I
I've done all
just
this
got
and I just
back
got
to
this.
this.
What? The
Yeah.
world shut down. And so, interestingly enough, real estate was considered essential. So
Mhm.
we stayed working. We worked harder in those 2 years following COVID than any other time. And the horse shows stayed continuing through different restrictions. Some were delayed. The horse shows continued.
Yep.
And I traveled more that year with that horse. And the first big NCHA sponsored event that I went to with her, we won the championship.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been in that arena in 17 years. And it was just incredible. A wonderful horse, a wonderful year. So it was just, I stepped out and did something that I hadn't done in a long time.
Right.
And of course, I'm very competitive. So there was only one way to do it.
Yep.
And so, but yeah, we just went and did it.
Yeah. So returning, to that life,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean to you?
Oh, it was incredible it was like riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
Obviously you're older, your timing is different, things are different. But it was the same mindset.
Yeah.
It was the competitive mindset, the competitive studying. And the difference too is I was always very connected to my horses, and I
Mhm.
wanted to be able to have that time to spend getting to know them.
Yeah.
Spending all that time with them on the ground as much as on top of them. And so I was very blessed to be where I was at the time, and to have the time to go out there. It was a gift
Yeah.
to get back on a horse
Mm-hmm.
and to be reignited into that world, and to be re-inspired to know that I can go do it.
Right.
And that we can get anything we decide we want to go do, we can go do.
Yeah.
We just have to take the first step. And the first step was someone pushing me to make, aside from getting it on the vision board, was go make it happen. Without action to make a step towards, the first step's the hardest. The rest of them come. But it's deciding, and then it's like opening your mouth and doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you this. I know I asked you whenever you first sold your horses if you were sad, and you
Mhm.
said no.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back into it, did you realize like that you missed it so much, or were you just like, no?
It was like I hadn't been gone. It was
Yeah.
interesting. Of course, you never sell the saddle and you never sell the bridles. You
Right.
have all of those things still. And so it was like stepping back on a bike, and it was just so rhythmic and
Mhm.
easy. And it was just a different type of joy, and really soaking it in because my life was in a different place.
Yeah.
And being able to soak in and be present, really be present on where you were. And having family around you that supported you and were excited for you. And instead of being just by yourself doing it.
Right.
So all those things just came together, and it was just a beautiful story, a beautiful time
Yeah.
that I was fortunate enough to get to relive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Mhm.
That's incredible. All right. So now let's go back to like the real estate side of things.
Okay.
Tell listeners about the Tara Stark Real Estate Group and the heart behind it.
Oh, so our heart truly is that making a difference, but being authentic to
Right.
who we are, being honest and honoring who we are in the process.
Mhm.
And we are in a position and in a place that we know what's right for us. We know what's right for representing ourselves to people.
Yeah.
And we want to be true and honest to ourselves
Absolutely.
while being able to help them. I think we've grown to that
Yep.
and understanding that authentic part of ourselves.
Yep. So you're part of KW Luxury. Look, did I say that right?
Luxury. Yeah.
Luxury.
You did.
I'm gonna.
You said it right.
Yep. I'm gonna repeat
Okay.
that. So you're part of KW Luxury and KW Land. What do those? Sorry. Yep. See, Parker's laughing at me. I knew this was gonna happen. I was doing so good. I knew this was gonna happen. Anyways, restarting. So you're part of KW Luxury and KW Land. How do those partnerships benefit your clients?
Yeah. Exposure for their property, exposure internationally, but also exposure to luxury agents across the United States and abroad. Same way with land, we get to connect and we go on our specific land summits and we go to luxury summits. And so we connect with those type of agents across the world. And it allows us to, when they have a client moving into here looking for a certain thing, and same way, vice versa, when I have a client moving to another state, and we have agencies in Italy and Turkey and Brazil and different places.
That's
and
incredible.
It's just incredible. And so many people moving, and it exposes us to more opportunity for our people.
What exciting listings, trends, or projects are coming up for your team?
So exciting. We're fortunate with our exposure through all of our marketing that we do, that we're very community based. And we're so thankful and blessed for the constant and the repeat and the referrals that we get from our clientele and our that we have, our clients, our repeat clients that we have. And so we have some amazing horse properties, ranches that are coming up. Beautiful listings currently right now that we have. We have a few things in our pocket that we can't say anything because they're not going yet, but just super excited for the world and for what's taking place in Parker County. So much growth.
Yeah. Well, that makes me excited for y'all. For anyone thinking about buying or selling, what's the best first step with you?
Just call me. I think the first best step is to call and have a conversation about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And because then we can build a strategy that's going to help you because no two things are alike and no two people's lives are alike.
Yeah.
It's really important to have a partnership around the strategy that works for you.
Yep. Awesome. Lastly, I should have mentioned this earlier, so that's completely my bad. But you had mentioned that you bought a house you were 42?
42.
Okay. Have you bought another house since, or are you still living there?
So I still live in the same house. Interestingly enough, we thought that I would probably sell it as soon as my daughter graduated high school in the Aledo School District.
Yep.
And I still live there. I absolutely love my home and my property. I have 6 acres, and I back up to 10,000 acres. And so I know that it will be being developed at some point in time, and life changes. But I have loved where I lived. And so other homes, yes, I have bought investment properties, rental properties. I bought a commercial property, looking for my perfect ranch right now. So if anybody's got one out there that they are thinking about selling, I am looking for a beautiful place to have more space.
Yeah.
A little more breathing room. And because things are growing up around us.
Left and right.
Yes. And so that's important to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah.
Popped in my head. So
Yep.
What advice would you give to women chasing a new dream or major life transition?
Yeah. So to me, it's just do it. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and know that your instincts and your gift is placed in you from God and is placed there for a reason. And you're not to not shy away from it. And to go after it. Surround yourself with the people that can help you obtain it. There will always be people that love you dearly that may want to protect you from what they see as not the right thing for you or as failure. And I had to learn through that failure is a good thing. It's
Absolutely,
or that failing, you're not a failure unless you just quit. And there was a book written by John Maxwell called Fail Forward, and I owned it for years, and I wouldn't read it because I don't like the title.
Yeah.
And it was a fabulous book. And so many books have helped me through that processing. But there will be those that love you that want to protect you, that are actually holding you back.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be that person that holds you back. Um, Go for it, fail, it don't matter.
Yeah.
And just get up, do it again, try it a different way. Find those people that support you and cheer you on. And if you can't find them, cheer your own self on.
Yep.
I think that's the most important thing ever. If you've got a dream, go for it. You can be anywhere you want to in 5 years. The thing is, you got to start today.
Yeah.
And to take that step, raise your hand and say, I want to go do this. Who out there can help me take that step? What do I need to learn in order to do this? I mean, we're so fortunate with the internet these days. You can go Google and figure out. It's like taking a trip. If you were going to go take a trip to Italy next spring, which I get to do.
That's exciting.
Yay. It's, well, what are you going to go do? And you start investigating. It's the same with any dream that you have. And that you go investigate, learn all you can about it, because those things open up the universe to you. And it's amazing what starts coming to you. And you'll meet one person that has another person that can connect the world for you. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And tell people, I will say this. When my second year in real estate, I took a class, and it was a mindset class. Really, it was building your real estate, but it was all about mindset. Everything starts with mindset. And it had to do with a dream. And if you have a dream and that you put it on that board, but if you write it down and share it, it goes back to the biblical words of write the vision for an appointed time. And when it's right, the time will come. And so we made a keychain back when you had real keychains and you couldn't touch your car. You had to have the key to unlock it. And you had to put something that was on your dream on a picture of it. And so it was before I owned a home, and I put the picture of my house on this keychain. And you had to have a date by when, because if it's not, otherwise it's just a wish. And if you're not, and if it's not on purpose, you don't have a plan to achieve it. So to understand that. And so I put it on a keychain, and I've still got the keychain because that was a picture basically very similar to the house I bought.
Yep.
And so it's just being on purpose of saying, this is important to me. How do I go figure it out and do it?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Has anyone ever told you that you should write a book?
Yes.
You really should write a book or like a daily devotional with just like little life quotes, because I'm so inspired right now.
Oh, thank you.
And you're just such a great like motivational speaker.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I know that you said that you get to go to Italy in the spring. Aside from that, what's next for you in 2025?
So Italy stands for really doing something for myself. And I've been wanting to go. It's the Eat, Pray, Love thing. And actually it was Under the Tuscan Sun. Okay. And I've just always dreamed about going to Italy, but it was always a faraway dream. And girlfriend's finally making me make that decision to do that for myself and committing. So it's done. It's on the books. It's done.
Good. I'm so glad.
Yes. And so we can't wait.
Where all are you going?
So we are flying into Rome, going to Florence, and then into Tuscany, of course. Yep. And then the Amalfi Coast, and then finishing our last few days in Rome.
Very jealous about that. I studied abroad in Italy, and so I went to Tuscany and Florence.
Oh, well, we got to connect. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I love it. But I did not get to go to the Amalfi Coast. So send me pictures.
Okay,
please.
I will. I certainly shall. It's I'm looking very forward to it, and it's and so it's interesting. The Under the Tuscan Sun is so interesting. It's about family, and about her heart being filled in different ways than she didn't realize. And to me, that speaks so much to my life too. And when you have dreams and prayers, and you don't realize until later sometimes that they get answered in a different way. Yeah. And it's so amazing because God will take you through so many things. Family is highly, highly important to me right now. They always have been, but it stays center front. Right. And so I'm on purpose about being on purpose in my business. Because you have to decide when you want to go do something that you're willing to do whatever it takes to do it. Yeah. And so that's the way I feel about our business and growing it such that I can also have a life with it. And so this year is about that, about the balancing of that. There's never a perfect balance, but about being on purpose, about growing the business while also building my life.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Tara, that is all for today. Before we wrap up, where can our viewers and listeners go to find you?
Absolutely. They can go to terrastark.com is our website. And easiest place probably is Instagram
Yep.
or our Facebook page at Terra Stark Realty and real estate group. And so you can find us there. I'm all over Facebook and Instagram, a little bit on TikTok. And
Oh,
so, yeah, that's, yeah. And so, but yeah, just reach out. You can find me. You can just Google me.
yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, again, I do really want to say thank you so much for coming and being on today's episode. I've said this multiple times, but you truly are inspiring. And I've really enjoyed getting to listen to your story.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Tara, once again, thank you so much for coming in today and being such an amazing co-host on today's episode. You are such an inspiration, like I said, and I know that I took away a lot of what you said today, and I know others will too. Once again, the Cowgirl Closet is a Worldwide Ranch production brought to you in part by Addy Lino. Today's episode would not have been possible without them allowing us to film here in their beautiful custom clothing boutique located in downtown Fort Worth. And thank you to our sponsor, the Terra Stark Real Estate Group. Their commitment to excellence, community, and Texas lifestyle sets them apart. Learn more about their luxury ranch and land services at their website, terrastark.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Addy Ford, and I will see you where the ranch meets the runway.